Okay, guys, so having had a decent look through my deck core, I'm starting to get a bit of an idea as to how this deck's going to work and what it's going to be capable of doing. It's going to be able to set up a good set of loops to be able to search through my deck to find exactly what I need. And so I knew that my field spell was absolutely vital for being able to set up this loops and pull monsters back from the grave to my hand to then reuse in ritual summons. And because that field spell was so important, one of the first cards that I added to my deck was a terraforming. Now, terraforming are obviously limited, so I can only have one in there, but it does give me that extra opportunity to get that field spell into my hand. I've not bothered with a metaverse because really this deck is kind of designed to close out turn one. And because it's designed to close out turn one, I don't really want to be setting a trap, waiting a turn to then try to grab my field spell back. I think that'd be a bit of a waste of space in this deck, so I'm not going to worry. Something that I was quite concerned about happening was I've not got anything in this deck that I can just normal summon. It's all ritual monsters, so it's a completely purely ritual monster deck, which means that I'm going to need to be able to get at least one of my rituals onto the field as quickly as I can. Now, I've got my 3 level 8 monsters, and I've got 2 copies of each of those in the deck, although I may wind back on Bethor, I'm not sure yet. I'm going to see how it plays. But I needed to make sure that I didn't stick first turn. And so, along with the 6 level 8 monsters, which allow me to act as field spells and just special summon from my hand, I've also added this, which is an Earth Chant, and I've got 3 of these in there. So this card can be used to ritual summon any Earth ritual monster. You must also tribute monsters from your hand or field whose total levels exactly equal the level of the ritual monster you ritual summon. So that shouldn't be too hard to achieve. I should have that kind of scope of monsters coming to my hand, but by adding the 3 Earth Chants in there, I've got 9 cards in my deck just to start me off. So that's, a quarter of my deck to get it going first turn. I've got a pretty good chance of drawing at least one of those to my hand first turn. I had a look at the Megalith Promotion, and Megalith Promotion is a trap card. It allows me to up the level of one of my Megalith monsters, which could be handy when ritual summoning. But I did find this card, which is Execution of the Contract. Now, Execution of the Contract basically does the same kind of thing. I can reveal one ritual monster in my hand, and the equipped monster, as I put that on the field, then becomes the revealed monster's level. So I can up the levels of some of my monsters. My next go-to was going to be the Preparation of Rites, which allows me to add 1 level 7 or lower ritual monster from my deck to my hand. So that will hopefully give me the chance to pull Orc, to pull Haggith, and really get that loop starting to go. My next step was to try to find out some kind of close down method with this deck. And so for that, I started to do a little bit of research. And by doing a bit of research, I managed to find out how other people have looked at Megalith, what they've kind of done to it. And don't be afraid to do research. Go onto your YouTube, and as I'm sure most of you guys will be the same, one of my favourite YouTubers has got to be Simu. And Simu has got a decent little bit of a deck profile on Megalith, so that gave me some ideas. And Simu's deck profile on Megalith had a focus on the Magician of Black Chaos Max. Now, we've got the ability with Megalith Orc to ritual summon in my opponent's turn. And when the Magician of Black Chaos Max is ritual summoned, it allows him to discard one of my opponent's monsters and stop my opponent activating monster effects the rest of the turn. So that should fairly well floodgate my opponent. It should lock him out from doing too much. Another idea that came up in the Simu deck profile was to use Cyber Angel Benton. Now, at first glance, I couldn't really work out what Cyber Angel Benton was for, what Cyber Angel Benton really did. You can ritual summon this card with a Machine Angel ritual. Yeah, fine, I can ritual summon this card with my various Megalith cards. If this card destroys a monster by battle and sends it to the graveyard, inflict damage to your opponent equal to the monster's original defense in the graveyard. Yeah, okay, fair enough, but it's only got an attack of 1800, so whether or not it's going to inflict any damage is iffy. If this card is tributed, you can add one light fairy monster from your deck to your hand. Now that's the bit that is really going to make the play in this deck. I can just use this as ritual material, and as soon as I use it as ritual material, it pulls another one straight back from my deck. So it allows me to get even more scope for my ritual summons, which is going to be really, really handy. My next go-to, as far as sort of researching and trying to find things to improve my deck profile, is I will use Yu-Gi-Oh! Fandom. The nice thing about Fandom is you can search sort of specific effects and different cards that will produce that effect. So in this case, I've got a negates attack search, and it will give you every single monster or card that can possibly negate an effect. And so it takes some time, it takes a little bit of going through, but that can be a really, really handy tool to start getting you guys to design your decks. The card that I actually found in here that I think is a real game changer is going to be this, which is the Armor Factor Pain, the Imagination Dreadlord. This is beautiful. This is a ritual monster. I can ritual summon this card with the Amphoros Persona, specifically stating that I can ritual summon this card. I don't have to, I can ritual summon this with my megalith monsters. If this card is ritual summoned, your opponent skips their next main phase 1. So basically it means that I'm going to stick that down in my turn. My opponent then doesn't get to summon anything before their battle phase. They then go into their second main phase. At that point, they're going to try to start summoning things. I, Magician of Black Chaos them, lock them out from the rest of that main phase 2, and I'm set. I'm then going into my turn with my opponent having to be able to do nothing on the field. And that's really going to be the shutdown. That's going to be the procedure for trying to get this deck to really do what it's supposed to do. So guys, in the next video, I'm going to have a look at trying to do a little bit of play testing, a little bit of first turn testing to see exactly what I can get set up in my hand and on the field. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video.